It's another week to take a look at what's happening in the world of business. This is Moolah Insider. We are all about personal finance and your relationship with money. My name is Masi Milanoi. This week, we're taking a look at why you'll be paying more for your video on-demand service, the latest fuel pump prices for the next 30 days, and how businesses have been coping during this pandemic. And of course, on our episodes on The Pursuit, we'll be telling you about a gym with no name. And the word of the week, it's inflation. Stay tuned. To our top stories this week, video on-demand service Netflix has announced its new monthly rates. Those on the premium package will now pay 1,450 shillings, up from 1,200 shillings, while those on the standard package will now pay 1,100 shillings, up from 950 shillings. The new changes come to effect after the digital service tax came to effect earlier this year. The new monthly rates come to effect on the 4th of July. Netflix subscribers have already been notified on the new monthly charges. Now, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has announced the new fuel pump prices for the next 30 days. The fuel pump prices will be 3 shillings and 56 cents more for super petrol, while diesel and kerosene will remain constant. Let's take a look at the new fuel pump prices. Now, to a main story of the week, the decision at the beginning of May to ease the COVID-19 restrictions that were imposed to reduce the rate of COVID infections in the country brought a sigh of relief to many Kenyans. This is especially to businesses, especially in tourism, manufacturing and the transport sector, who had been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. But even as the country progresses for a partial reopening, is this enough for business to resume?
It is directed that the cessation of movement into and out of the zoned areas be and is hereby lifted.
The easing of restrictions to limit the spread of COVID-19 has been received with much hope and excitement, especially by those in sectors that have received the greatest impact of the pandemic. These are the tourism, manufacturing, entertainment industry, as well as the transport sectors. Many have closed their businesses while millions have lost their jobs. But according to experts, the excitement may not last long if much more is not done to deal with the uncertainties that have come to characterize life in a pandemic.
The government last year provided the guarantee fund for SMEs and hospitality industry, but that was not sufficient. We want to see much more incentives being provided for the bulk of the support system of our economy, which is the small and medium-sized businesses. We need to see government providing resources and incentives. But vaccination is the surest way of at least being assured that you can live, and you can protect yourself from severity of this pandemic. And then widespread mass testing, because we want businesses opened. SMEs have been widely affected. It is in the general economic and commercial affairs, we cannot see any indication of resources being allocated for to support SMEs with regards to how they open up.
You need to come up with a framework to say that whoever donates, for example, during this particular period of COVID, that donation should not be subjected to tax. Again, we also introduce even tax holidays. For example, it will not hurt anybody for you to give the sectors a tax holiday, because in the first place, they are not making any whatever. They will go and become innovative, because like Mombasa, how many people are going to Mombasa to enjoy the sun and suns of Mombasa? They are very few. Just give the whole sector, register them and give them a tax holiday, just like the other countries have done. Now, these bars, the bars which basically are all over, which are selling alcohol, and of course the hotels, just give them the tax holiday for, tell them 1.5 years. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, there's no, you're just communicating the goodwill of government to re-energize them to innovate.
Well, with that report, businesses can only hope for better times ahead. Now, on to our next story. With the harsh economic conditions that have been brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, many Kenyans have had to rethink how they spend and, most importantly, how they shop. Now, there is less emphasis on brand as shoppers focus more on saving more. According to the Chief Operating Officer at Naivas, Willie Kimani, shoppers are now more keen on spending less and leveraging more on promotions as they seek to shop more for less.
The latest COVID-19 measures last month by President Uhuru Kenyatta came in swift and unexpected. And with the increasing fuel prices, things have only gone from bad to worse. Many Kenyans are barely surviving due to the serious impact on livelihoods caused by sharp decreases in income and employment. Cost of basic needs have also gone up.
Uga ya ugali tulikuwa tunanunua 90, saa hii tunanunua 130 na 135 au 140. Sasa kila kitu imepanda. Mkate ilikuwa 50, sasa tunanunua 60. Sasa maisha imepanda sana juu ya hii ugonjwa. Kama ni tuseme kama upande wa kununua kama ni nyama, unafikiri wakati hiyo bereni kilo ilikuwa 300 au ilikuwa 400, sasa tunanunua 550. Imepandishwa juu ya yule hana customer, anauza kitu kidogo tu. Anajua mkikuja watu watatu munalipia wengine watatu.
By now, over 2 million Kenyans have no jobs, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Those hard hit directly are in the hotel, the entertainment joints, manufacturing and transport sector. Most breadwinners who lost their income, some of their dependents, including children, spouses and other relatives, have been forced out of their cocoon dependency as they hit the road looking for work as well.
Kwa hivyo maisha imebadilika na imekuwa baya sana. Juu hata ukifuka kuku hakuna waraji. Ile kitu si afford saa hii ni the obvious needs. Si unaona nilikuwa na hoteli. Nimefunga hoteli. Na kazi yangu sasa iko nimezima. Ile mapato nilikuwa napata ya hoteli. Siwezi pata. Hata hizo kuku ninafuga nilikuwa napeleka kwa hoteli yangu. Siwezi peleka juu tumefugua na serikali.
With these new changes, a majority have been forced to cut their budget to manage their minimal income.
I was able to buy even 5 kg of rice and maybe 5 kg of sugar, maybe 5 liters of this salad, unga, maybe even half a bundle or a bundle. But right now, things are so tough, you can't even get, even just to manage 2 packets of kg in the house is a problem.
Naivas Chief Commercial Officer Willie Kimani says most consumers now want cheaper goods, moving away from their loyal brands. They are also very keen on health standard, especially on groceries and other food items.
And brand preference within customers actually really shrunk. And most of the items on offer are really getting more traction than how the traction will have actually been pre-COVID times. So we are seeing brand preference for items on promo. What we are looking at is an item in promo will actually completely get way much more uplift than before, where people will still have stuck with their brands. Right now there is definitely a whole lot of price perception driven purchase.
While the positivity rate has reduced to 11% from 20% when the lockdown was announced, we are not yet at the point where restriction can be eased. For that, we need the infection rate to fall below 5% for 2 weeks, which means we are not yet out of the woods.
Well, you are watching Moolah Insider, and remember to log on to www.moolah.co.ke for more stories. Coming up, we have Pursuits, where we'll tell you about a gym with no name, and of course, our word of the day, inflation. Welcome back. You are watching Moolah Insider. The COVID-19 pandemic has had its ups and downs. While many have been equally affected, for fitness instructor Moolah Insider saw an opportunity. And now he has a gym, not just any gym, but a gym with no name. Find out why.
My name is Moolah Insider. My name is also Kifaru. And my latest name is Coaches, because I recently opened a gym. A gym with no name. For guys who know what this name means, they probably know where I got it from. Game of Thrones, which is, it was actually meant to be a gym has no name, but then by the time I tried to make the change, 1,000 flyers had already gone for print. So I was like, you know what, hiyo ni sawa. for 100 shillings a day, come to the gym, my house, you do aerobics, kidogo, small space. Guys are sweating everywhere, open doors and windows. And then in my mind, I was like, the place I stay there is a place, there are shops. So I could actually look for one, pay for it, and turn it into a dream because I'd always wanted to have a facility like this one. So I secured the place. I started off with a carpet and my laptop. Then we were doing aerobics. So my target group then initially was women because according to other gym owners were like, wamama wakikuja, wanakuja na pesa, you know? And of course, when the ladies show up, the guys want to come and show their muscles and stuff. In Juakali, they sell you a kilo of chuma for 100 shillings. Whether you want nails, flat sheets, metallic bars, rods, whatever it is. So I was able to go and fabricate some dumbbells, some weights, which I put together, and then now I was able to have the weights I have. Over and above that, there's a local supplier. There's a guy who imports and sells gym equipment at quite an affordable price. I got a cross trainer as well. So November came and went. December, lots of rain, guys are traveling, kids are at home. So the little monies people had were not for paying for gym. And then who wants to work out in December? You know, it's party after party. Then January came and guys are paying rent, guys are paying school fees. And January is more or less a dry month. February is better because people started showing interest, you know, guys who are promising to come. Then March is when they started showing a lot of interest until but surprisingly enough, because of guys being at home, March, April, May, and June were my best months. That's when I made a lot of money. Why? Because guys don't sit in the house. Nyumba inauma, so they come to the gym. But then post-June, whatever resources people had started finishing. So are you gonna pay rent, take care of your fuel, or are you gonna go to the gym? So, and that was also, I think, the same time guys were being asked to go back to work.
Well, clearly there's always an opportunity in everything that we do. Now let's take a look at our leading indicators, starting up with the stocks and foreign exchange on how they're performing this week. Let's take a look at the prices of your groceries at selected supermarkets. One of the factors that affects the leading indicators, especially the price of groceries and what you buy every single day, is inflation. And we've heard this word over and over again. But what does inflation mean? Inflation is the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time. A quantitative estimate at the rate at which the decline in purchasing power occurs can be reflected if the increase of an average price level of a basket of selected goods and services in an economy over some period of time. The rise in the general level of prices, often expressed as a percentage, means that a unit of currency effectively buys less than it did before. Well, that's all that we had for you this week on Moolah Insider. My name is Mercy Milanoe, but be sure to check out www.moolah.co.ke for more stories, and we will definitely see you next week.